The Irtysh River is a river in Russia, China, and Kazakhstan. It is the chief tributary of the Ob River. The river's headwaters originate in the Mongolian Altai in Dzungaria, close to the border with Mongolia. Irtysh's main affluents of the Tobol River and the Ishim River. The Ob-Irtysh system forms a major drainage basin in Asia, encompassing most of western Siberia and the Altai Mountains. Geography. From its origins as the Kara-Irtysh in the Mongolian Altai Mountains in Xinjiang, China, the Irtysh flows northwest through Lake Zaysan in Kazakhstan, meeting the Ishim and Tobol rivers before merging with the Ob near Khanty-Mansiysk in western Siberia, Russia after 4,248 kilometers. The name Black Irtysh is applied by some authors, especially in Russia and Kazakhstan, to the upper course of the river. From its source entering Lake Zaysan, the term White Irtysh, in opposition to the Black Irtysh, was occasionally used in the past to refer to the Irtysh below Lake Zaysan. Now this usage is largely obsolete. Economic use. In Kazakhstan and Russia, tankers, passenger and freight boats navigate the river during the ice-free season, between April and October. Omsk, home to the headquarters of the state-owned Irtysh River Shipping Company, functions as the largest river port in western Siberia. On the Kazakhstan section of the river there are presently three major hydroelectric plants, namely at Bakhtama, Ust-Kamenogorsk and Shulbinsk. The world's deepest lock, with a drop of 42 meters, allows river traffic to bypass the dam at Ust-Kamenogorsk. Plans exist for the construction of several more dams. 3 dams have been constructed on the Chinese section of the Irtysh as well: the Keketui Dam, the Kalaski Dam, and the Project 635 Dam. There are also the Burkine-Chonghar Dam and the Burkine-Shankou Dam on the Irtysh's right tributary, the Burkine River, and the Jilib Dam and Yamaguchi Dam on another right tributary, the Ob River. The Northern River Reversal proposals, widely discussed by the USSR planners and scientists in the 1960s and 1970s, would send some of the Irtysh's water to the water-deficient regions of central Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. Some versions of this project would have seen the direction of flow of the Irtysh reversed in its section between the mouth of the Tobol and the confluence of the Irtysh with the Ob at Khanty-Mansiysk, thus creating an anti-Irtysh. While these gigantic interbasin transfer schemes were not implemented, a smaller Irtysh-Karaganda Canal was built between 1962 and 1974 to supply water to the dry Kazakh steppes and to one of the country's main industrial center, Karaganda. In 2002, pipelines were constructed to supply water from the canal to the Ishim River and Kazakhstan's capital, Astana. In China, a short canal was constructed in 1987 to divert some of the Irtysh water to the Indoriat Lake Ulungur, whose level had been falling precipitously due to the increasing irrigation use of the lake's main affluent, the Ulungur River. In the last years of the 20th century and the early 2000s, a much more major project, the Irtysh-Karamay-Urumqi Canal, was completed. Increased water use in China has caused significant concerns among Kazakh and Russian environmentalists. According to a report published by Kazakhstan fishery researchers in 2013, the total Irtysh water use in China is about 3 cubic kilometers per year. As a result, only about 2/3 of what would be the river's natural flow reach the Kazakh border. Cities. Major cities along the Irtysh, from source to mouth, include, in China, Fuyuan, Beitan, Burkine, in Kazakhstan, Ust-Kamenogorsk, Semi, Aksu, Pavlodar. In Russia, Omsk, Tara, Tobolsk, Khanty-Mansiysk. Bridges. 7 railway bridges span the Irtysh. They are located in the following cities, about 15 kilometers downstream from Serebryansk: Oskmen, Semi on the Turkestan-Siberia Railway, Pavlodar on the South Siberian Rail Line, near Sherlak on the Middle Siberian Rail Line, Omsk on the Trans-Siberian Railway. Opened in 1896, this is the oldest bridge on the river. Tobol on the Tiamen Circuit Line, as the Khitan-Baton Railway in China's Xinjiang is being extended toward Altai city. A railway bridge over the Irtysh at Baton will need to be constructed as well. Numerous highway bridges over the Irtysh exist in China, Kazakhstan, and Russia. There are no bridges of any kind on the Irtysh downstream of Tobol. History. A number of Mongol and Turkish peoples occupied the river banks for many centuries. In 657, Tang dynasty general Su Dingfang defeated Ashina-Helu's Khagan of the Western Turkish Khaganate at the Battle of Irtysh River, ending the Tang campaign against the Western Turks. Helu's defeat ended the Khaganate, strengthened Tang control of Xinjiang, and led to Tang suzerainty over the Western Turks. In the 15th and 16th centuries, the lower and middle courses of the Irtysh lay within the Tatar Khanate of Sibir. Its capital, Kashlik, was located on the Irtysh a few miles upstream from the mouth of the Tobol. The Khanate of Sibir was conquered by the Russians in the 1580s. The Russians started building fortresses and towns next to the sites of former Tatar towns. One of the first Russian towns in Siberia was Tobol, founded in 1587 at the fall of the Tobol into the Irtysh, downstream from the former Kashlik. Farther east, Tara was founded in 1594, roughly at the border of the Tiger Belt and the steppe to the south. In the 17th century, the Dzungaria Khanate, formed by the Mongol-Irtysh people, became Russia's southern neighbor and controlled the upper Irtysh. As a result of Russia's confrontation with the Dzungaries in the Peter the Great's era, the Russians founded the cities of Omsk in 1716, Semipalatinsk in 1718, Ust-Kamenogorsk in 1720, and Petropavlovsk in 1752. The Chinese Qing Empire conquered Dzungaria in the 1750s. This prompted an increase in the Russian authorities' attention to the borderland. In 1756, the Orenburg governor Ivan Nepleuyev even proposed the annexation of the Lake Zasan region, but this project was forestalled by Chinese successes. Concerns were raised in Russia about the possibility of a Chinese fleet sailing from Lake Zasan down the Irtysh and into western Siberia. A Russian expedition visited Lake Zasan in 1764 and concluded that such a riverine invasion would not be likely. Nonetheless, a chain of Russian pickets was established on the Bakhtama River, north of Lake Zasan. Thus the border between the two empires in the Irtysh basin became roughly delineated, with a chain of guard posts on both sides. The situation in the borderlands in the mid-19th century is described in a report by Abramov. Even though the Zasan region was recognized by both parties as part of the Qing Empire, it had been annually used by fishing expeditions sent by the Siberian Cossack host. The summer expeditions started in 1803, and in 1822–25 the range was expanded through the entire Lake Zasan and to the mouth of the Black Irtysh. Through the mid-19th century, the Qing presence on the Upper Irtysh was mostly limited to the annual visit of the King Amban from Chagutchik to one of the Cossacks' fishing stations. The border between the Russian and the Qing empires in the Irtysh basin was established along the line fairly similar to China's modern border with Russia and Kazakhstan by the Convention of Peking of 1860. The actual borderline pursuant to the convention was drawn by the Protocol of Chagutchik, leaving Lake Zasan on the Russian side. The Qing Empire's military presence in the Irtysh basin crumbled during the 1862–77 Dungan Revolt, after the fall of the rebellion and the reconquest of Xinjiang by Zhao Zongtang. The border between the Russian and the Qing empires in the Irtysh basin was further slightly readjusted, in Russia's favor, by the Treaty of St. Petersburg. Other uses: FC Irtysh Omsk, a soccer team in Omsk, Russia. FC Irtysh Pavlodar, a soccer team in Pavlodar, Kazakhstan. Irtysh, a Russian military hospital ship, used at the Bering Strait swim 2013.